Here goes this placeholder. So the version 4.0.0 update notes for Splatoon 3 are here. Let's go through them. You see May 30, 2023. Season and catalog changes. On June 1st, 2023, data relating to Sizzle Season 2023 will be added to the game. This includes a new catalog including new gear, titles, splash tags, decorations, stickers, and emotes. A new battle stage, Barnacle and Dime. A returning battle stage from the Splatoon 2 game Humpback, Pump Track. Two new main weapons. 9 new sets of existing main weapons paired with different sub and special weapons. A new Salmon Run stage, Jam and Salmon Junction. 11 new table turf battle cards. Changes to multiplayer, added 3 songs that play during a battle. Oh, 3! I only about 2. Guess we'll find a third one out later. New main weapons have been added. These weapons will be available in the shops at the start of Sizzle Season 2023. S-Blast92. Weapon detail, S-Blast92. Weapon details, S-92, a new blaster weapon that can switch between 2 ways of shooting. Normally it fires shots that have small explosions in exchange for the ability to hit distant targets quickly. When the player jumps and fires, the weapon will release shots that have a larger impact but a shorter range. Paintbrush, the first swing of this paintbrush is slow, but in exchange it can continuously fling powerful ink shots a great distance. Another benefit of setting the slow first swing is the ability to quickly ink turf while running forward. New weapons have been added. These weapons will be available in the shops at the start of Sizzle Season 2023. An Aki Splattershot Nova comes with Ink Mine and Inkjet. H3 Nozzle Nose D comes with Splash Wall and Big Bubbler. Rapid Blaster Pro Deco comes with Angle Shooter, Killer Whale 5.1. S-Blast 92 comes with Sprinkler and Reef Slider. Big Swig Roller Express comes with Angle Shooter and Inkstorm. Paintbrush comes with Curling Bomber and Wave Breaker. Heavy Splatling Deco comes with Point Sensor and Kraken Royale. Custom Dually Squadrons come with Squid Weekend and Super Chump. Light Tetra Dualies come with Sprinkler and Slipcaster. Tentacerella Brella comes with Inkmine and Trizuka. Splatana Wiper Deco comes with Squid Beacon and Tenta Missiles. Ooh, yeah. Specifications for some main weapons have changed. Carbon Rollers. When the player holds the ZR button to ink while moving forward, they will now reach a top speed approximately 1/6 of a second faster than before. Okay, that's interesting. Octobrush, reduce the amount of ink consumed by swinging the brush by approximately 6%. Reduce the amount of ink consumed while holding the ZR button to ink while moving forward by approximately 7%. Oh, yay! Octobrush got a buff! Haha! Sniper Raider 5H, reduced the amount of ink consumed by approximately 13%. Increase movement speed while charging and while fully charged by approximately 13%. Sniper Raider got a buff. Reduced ink consumption, increased straight movement speed while charging. Or charged up. Splash-O-Matics, shortened forward ink spread from the point of impact by approximately 10%. Oh, so it inks slightly worse. Okay. That's a very specific, slightly worse thing to be doing. The forward ink spread from the spot you land on. Sloshing Machine, lengthened the interval between continuous swings by approximately 5/6 of a second. So they nerfed it by 5 frames, so each swing is 5 frames further apart. Splatana Stamper, narrowed the width of ink launch by horizontal slashes by approximately 14%. Vertical, horizontal, narrowed the width. So the height, up and down, or is it left and right? Whatever. Increased the amount of ink consumed by approximately 30%. Man, that's something. Specifications for some special weapons have changed. Big Bubbler, increased the barrier's maximum radius. Oh, got a buff. Reduced the damage taken from some special weapons to approximately 50-75% of what it was before. Oh, wow. Big Bubbler got a buff? Cool. Tactical, extended the drink's effect duration by approximately 2 seconds when not equipped with the special power-up gear, and the maximum duration gained from equipping the maximum number of special power-up gear abilities will not change. Oh, okay, cool. Made it easier to activate the effect from the special power-up gear ability even when the player only has a few items with the gear ability equipped. Okay, yeah. So it got buffed by 2 seconds. Man, 2 seconds can feel like a long time sometimes in a game this fast-paced. and then they adjusted the special power up doesn't make it go any higher. And they adjusted it so it goes from 2 seconds to higher, max higher. Super Chump increased the radius of ground ink when decoys drop by approximately 40%. No, that's good. Increased the minimum damage dealt by decoy explosions from 25 to 35. Made it possible to aim for nearer positions than before. Oh, cool. So you don't have to move as far back to get to certain spaces. Ultra Stamp. Oh! Shortened the effect duration by approximately 1.5 seconds when not equipped with special power-up gear. The effect duration gained from equipping the maximum number of special power-up gear abilities will not change. Made it easy to activate the effect from special power-up gear ability even when a player only has a few items with that gear ability equipped. So it got reduced time. Oh, I got a nerf. That sucks. Points required for some special weapons have been changed. Neo Splasher-Matic 200 to 210. Rapid Blaster Deco 200 to 210. Ballpoint Splatling 190 to 200. Made it so that players cannot super jump to a teammate's position in tower control mode when that teammate jumps from a tower to a wall and their current position is separated from the position of the tower that would be a super jump destination. I guess someone will figure out what that really means. Made it so that when certain conditions are met, two players on a winning team who made great efforts will celebrate each other's brave fighting after performing their victory emotes. Okay, it's always two players. Made it possible to select from two different ink color combinations when the color lock is enabled. Oh, neat! Color lock combination number 1 is closer to previous setting. When battling with two teams, the colors will remain the same color as when color lock was enabled up until version 3.1.1. During Tricolor Turf War, the colors will remain the same as when color lock was enabled in version 1.2.1 or earlier. Okay. Color lock combination number 2 is a greater adjustment to provide support for cases where it was still difficult to play with color lock enabled previously. The color combination will be different from when color lock was enabled previously, both when battling with two teams in during Tricolor Turf War battles. Adjust the animation when a rep and Inkopolis teammate was performed with a Splatling equipped. Okay. Alright, so we've got two color lock combinations, that's good. Changes to challenges. Oh yeah, challenges got added. Data relating to a new multiplayer mode called Challenges has been added. Challenges allow limited time battles with special rules. They can also serve as online tournament qualifiers. Oh, online tournament qualifiers. Players can participate solo or form a group with friends and join together. Challenges can be broken up into as many as 3 time slots so that players from various regions can join. Each time slot will be 2 hours long. As players battle, their challenge power will be calculated, which changes based on the player's wins and losses during the time slot. Challenge power will be calculated individually for players who participate solo and as a group for players joining as a group. If a group's members change, the group will be considered new and challenge power will be recalculated. Once a certain amount of time has passed since the end of the challenge, players will be able to check the lobby terminal to see how high the challenge power was overall. Challenge power distribution is measured in 3 divisions: solo, duos, and teams. 3-player groups are considered part of the team's division. Oh, okay. Made it possible to use a shell-out machine with shell-out tokens. Players who win 5 battles within a challenge will receive a shell-out token. Players can only earn 1 shell-out token per challenge. Oh. So is it per challenge as in each time period? Each separate challenge, or so we can get 3, or is it just 1 for that entire 3 slot period? Sounds like it's the second one. Sounds like it's more like here's the challenges, it'll be during these 3 time slots, but you only get 1 shell-out token for it. Changes to Anarchy battles. Made it so that Anarchy power will be calculated for your team as a whole when participating in Anarchy battle open with friends. Anarchy power changes depends on wins and losses and to reset when modes or stages switch. If a group's members change, the group will be considered new and Anarchy power will be recalculated. Once a certain amount of time has passed during the mode or stage switch, players will be able to check the lobby terminal to see how high their Anarchy power was overall. Anarchy power distribution is measured in two divisions, duos and teams. 3-player groups are considered part of the team's division. Greatly changed the matchmaking mechanism in Anarchy Battle Open to improve matchmaking efficiency for groups of 2 players. Oh, good. Made it possible to select change gear, then go after battle ends in Anarchy Battle Open. This allows players in a group to change gear while maintaining the group. Made it so that selecting stop after a battle ends will return players to the awaiting ready state, instead of forcing them to leave the room when participating in Anarchy Battle Open with a group of friends. Oh, I see. Ooh, changes to Salmon Run? Oh, heck yeah. Oh, these all Salmon Run only buffs. Changes to Salmon Run. Specifications for some main weapons have changed. Dynamo Roll. Reduce the amount of ink consumed by horizontal swings and vertical swings by approximately 25%. Reduce the amount of ink consumed when holding the ZR button to paint while moving forward by approximately 33%. Oh my god, that's great. Heck yeah. Octobrush. Reduce the amount of ink consumed by swinging the brush by approximately 6%. Oh yes. Big Swing Roller. Increase the damage dealt while holding the ZR button to ink while moving forward by approximately 42%. Sniper Raider 5H. Increase damage dealt when fully charged by approximately 33%. Reduce the amount of ink consumed when fired without charging by approximately 13%. Oh, but does that include the speed buff from multiplayer? Slosher. Increase damage dealt by approximately 40%. Tenterbrella. Increase the damage per burst shot by approximately 28%. Increase the maximum damage dealt with a single shot to a single target by approximately 47%. Increase the damage dealt by the Brella by approximately 50%. Undercover Rella. Increase the maximum damage dealt with a single shot to a single target by approximately 25%. Increase damage dealt by the Brella by approximately 25%. Tri-Stringer. Increase damage dealt at the first charge level by approximately 33%. There is no change to damage dealt at the second charge level. Yeah. That's because how the charge level works. It maxes out damage at charge 1 and it maxes out range at charge 2. And concentration. Reflux 450. Increase damage dealt when fired without charging by approximately 6%. Increase damage dealt at the first charge level by approximately 40%. There's no change to damage dealt at the second charge level. Oh my god, these are all Salmon Run buffs. Oh, heck yeah. Double the number of fish scales normally obtained after fighting a king salmon in a big run. Yeah. Made it possible to join extra work solo. When players join solo, a weapon that does not overlap with other players will automatically be selected from the weapons available in that round of extra work. When joining extra work with a group of fewer than 4, other players will be gathered so that it becomes a 4-player attempt. Players with similar high scores during the round of extra work or similar regular job ratings will be gathered. Made it so that when a player joins an extra work group, a weapon that does not overlap with players who are already participating is initially selected. Made it clear when it is not possible to select ready because a player has joined an extra work group and selected a weapon that overlaps with another player. Made it so that friends and members from the same pool will be notified when you set a new high score in a big round of extra work. Players who do not wish to be notified about new high scores can disable it by selecting options on the main menu and selecting other. Lobby notifications off. Adjusted the position where normal power eggs appear when a Salmonator is hit with an attack so that they appear from the position where the attack hit. This does not apply to all attacks. Oh, I see. So normally they just come from like this. Whenever you attack something, you get power eggs from the center of the thing. But they're saying they made it so you get it from where you hit. This doesn't apply at all. Yeah, doesn't apply. Okay. Made it so that the total number of golden eggs deposited and the total number of normal power eggs obtained both display when reviewing recent jobs at Grizzco Industries. Made it so that newly added items available for trade using fish scales are clearly marked. Changes to Table Turf Battle. Increase the Table Turf rank limit to 999. Adjusted the results announcement screen animation to make the winner clearer. Made it possible for players to check their own deck or give up after placing a card and waiting for their opponent to make a decision. Okay. Made it easy to distinguish between cards in the deck and cards not in the deck while on the deck editing screen. Made it so that the player's win streak in a particular room displays in online matches. When a player leaves the room, the win streak returns to 0. Made it possible for the player who created the room to leave even when other players are in an online match. Made it possible for other players to continue online matches in a room even after the player who created the room leaves. Made it so that when a player is spectating another player's online match and a different player in the same room begins playing, that information displays on screen. Made it so that when a player is editing their deck in an online match, a speech bubble indicating that they are doing so will appear above their head. Changed the control to stop accepting online matches to the B button. Made it so that players will automatically give up if they do not take any action for a certain amount of time in online matches. Oh dear. Changes to the lobby. Added 3 songs that will play in the lobby. Supported the room creation feature of Splatnet 3. Oh? Room creation is a feature in Splatnet 3 for creating private battle rooms in advance. When players create a room, they can generate an invitation URL, share it via social media, etc. to invite other players. After creating a room with room creation or receiving an invitation to a room that a player created using room creation, players can join their room created with room creation by selecting a private battle from the in-game lobby. Made it possible to send notifications to inviting players to group as many times as desired. Once a certain amount of time passes after sending a notification, once players will be able to send another. Made it possible to select put away when grabbing a shelf or locker organizer while editing your locker as long as they aren't touching any other objects. Okay. Made it so that food or drink effects that are currently active will display when ordering new food or drinks at grab and go. Made it so that when another player is operating their jukebox in a private battle, a speech bubble indicating that they are doing so will appear above their head. Made it possible to use some features even during matchmaking. These include displaying notifications, displaying your friends' menu, displaying ghost details, reviewing lockers, rating a player or a locker as fresh. Oh, neato. This update focuses on adding features for Sizzle Season 2023, which starts in June, as well as adding challenges in the Anarchy Battle Open features. It also adjusts the balance of battles in Salmon Run. Regarding challenges, we have implemented the features of League battles from Splatoon 2 separately. Special events like tournaments and monthly battles are now a part of challenges, while you'll be able to test your skills with friends anytime in Anarchy Battle Open. In terms of battle adjustments, we've added new main weapons, powered up some special weapons, and made adjustments to certain weapons. In particular, the sloshing machine was designed for fighting in places with height differences or lots of obstacles, but it has proven highly effective even in battles on flat places. So by lengthening the interval between continuous swings, we've maintained the characteristic wide attack range while decreasing its ability to defeat opponents. For the Splatana Stamper, we've increased the accuracy of the aim for follow-up attacks with horizontal slashes, and lowered the ability to continue fighting solo, all while maintaining the unique nature of fighting by relying on a powerful charge slash, which balances a wide inking range and high attack performance. Regarding the Splashomatic and Neo-Splashomatic, we've made adjustments to slightly alleviate the situation where they're able to effectively exchange fire with foes at a greater distance than intended. Oh, I guess that's why they did the thing. And next update will be planned for the middle of season 2023 and will primarily focus on balance adjustments. Bug fixes to player controls. Fixing the issue that caused the distance the player could move after spawning onto a stage, but before landing on the ground to change if they adjusted the direction of the camera. That sometimes caused an ink spray animation to play when the player changed into swim form mid-air, where it was sometimes difficult to get on top of a wall when swimming up a wall with a grate above it. That made it possible to use throwing type special weapons slightly faster than intended by activating the special weapon in the interval between pressing the ZR button and when the ink actually fired. Fixed an issue that made it difficult to ink the ground when a blaster was fired while directly adjacent to a wall, where the ink consumed by a horizontal swing of a roller while moving was slightly more than when the horizontal swing was performed while standing still, where the animation appeared to show ink flying on the player's screen even if another player was using a roller that was out of ink, where the intended sound effect would not play on the player's screen when another player was swinging a brush while out of ink, where when a player super jumped and opened an umbrella just before landing, foes touched the umbrella and were pushed by it, sometimes clipped into the terrain. When umbrellas with different durabilities clashed and one of them broke, the one that remained sometimes was not damaged. Where the area for splat umbrellas and other umbrellas blocking enemy shots was smaller than it appeared. Where players who fired 10th umbrella followed behind it could appear slightly in front of the umbrella on the other player's screen to be attacked. The issue has been mitigated by increasing the thickness of the area of a fire umbrella that protects against enemy fire. Issue where undercover umbrellas did not recharge after defeating an enemy or assisting in defeating enemies plays a special weapon. Where the animation appeared to show ink flying on the player screen if another player was using his baton that was out of ink. Where there was roughly 1/6 second delay before the explosion when a fizzy bomb hit any splashable or similar barrier. Where an enemy player inside a big bubbler sometimes took damage when a sub weapon hit the big bubbler and destroyed it. Where angle shooters sometimes rebounded in unintended ways when used on a surface with a slight elevation difference. Where the zipcast arm did not pass through the perimeter fence on certain stages. Players who used the zipcast attached to a wall at their feet where an enemy ink would continue to take damage even though their feet were not on the ground. Some animations wouldn't display when looking inside a tactical or through the glass. The projectiles from some throwing type sub-weapons would not land in the correct spot when thrown into the space between tactical and terrain. Players were unable to set up tacticals in certain terrain. Tactical is set up on moving towers, sometimes disappeared immediately after being set up. I think I've seen that one before. The animation of ink spraying from another player's inkjet occasionally didn't show on the player's screen. The controller didn't rumble when an enemy's center missile locked onto the player or a nearby ally. The sound of the player taking damage played consecutively when they used the ultrasnap within the area of effect of an enemy's ink storm. If a player sent a booyah in certain situations, like when they were slatted and an ally's special gauge didn't increase, the ally's special gauge would appear to have increased when they sent a booyah. Where another player's position occasionally appeared to move unnaturally on the player's screen when that player touched terrain, or using a booyah bomb was pushed away. Where a player who uses a booyah bomb under a tower's grate would sometimes be pushed away by the tower and clipped inside terrain. This was fixed by making it so that the player can pass through the grate. Where walls were sometimes not inked properly when players activated a Kraken Royale near the wall and then immediately climbed it. Players occasionally landed in an unintended spot after super jumping to an ally who was submerged in ink on the side of a tower. Fixed an issue in Rainmaker mode, where multiple sound effects played when the player got in between the Rainmaker shield and terrain with a Kraken Royale. Issue in Rainmaker mode, where a minimum charge Rainmaker shot was automatically fired when players obtained the Rainmaker immediately before firing certain main weapons. Fixes the multiplayer. Fixed an issue where the unevenness of ink did not display as intended on certain terrain. Where an ink rail would sometimes vanish if the player hit the ink rail's start point with an attack right before the ink rail stopped working. Adjusted the color of tri-stringer shots lodged in terrain during Splatfest so that it's easier to tell which team fired them. Fixed an issue where the animation of marking an enemy with weapons like the point sensors displayed darker than intended on certain stages during Splatfest. Where sprinklers placed on the side or bottom of a tower would unnaturally ink the top of the tower. In Rainmaker mode, where fully charged Rainmaker shots did not explode immediately when they touched umbrella before coming in contact with terrain. In Rainmaker mode, where the special gear usage was not counted when the Rainmaker was obtained after throwing a tactical above before it was set up. Fixed a rare issue in Clam Blitz mode that caused terrain not to be inked in certain spots when hit with a power clam. Fixed an issue in Clam Blitz mode that caused the animation indicating a clam's location to not display in certain spots even when the clam's location was inked. In Clam Blitz mode, where it sometimes became impossible to obtain clams or power clams despite repeatedly picking up and throwing them while on an unstable connection. In Undertow Spillway in Rainmaker mode, where a don't retreat warning would be triggered in some spots even if the player was advancing with the Rainmaker. Fixed an issue mincemeat metal works and allowed players to stay on top of grates in certain areas while in swim form. In Hagglefish Market, where it was possible to set up ink blinds in certain spots that can be inked. In Hagglefish Market and Clam Blitz mode, where players could infiltrate the enemy base in an unintended way by using ink rails. Fixing the issue in Museum d'Alfonsino, where players who used a zipcaster to land on top of a rotating terrain couldn't stop at that location. In Museum d'Alfonsino, where players who used inkjet to land on top of a rotating terrain could float up higher than intended. In Museum d'Alfonsino, that sometimes caused tactical as thrown into rotating terrain to disappear as soon as they were set up. In Museum d'Alfonsino and Tower Control mode, that sometimes caused players to clip into the terrain when super jumping near the rotating terrain at certain times. Inkblot Art Academy, that prevented players from submerging in ink on the edges of some terrain. In Inkblot Art Academy, that sometimes caused sub-weapons thrown on certain spots to stop on those spots. in certain shipyard and turf war mode that allowed players to ink the bottom of certain boxes that were not intended to be inked, which increased players' special gauges and earned them points. In Maker Mart, that made some of the terrain look like it could be inked even though it couldn't. In Wahoo, that caused some animation to not display when looking through glass. In Wahoo, that allowed players to submerge in terrain that was not intended to be inked. In Brightwater Springs, that allowed players to choose to spawn in a spot outside of the stage, causing them to immediately fall. In Brightwater Springs, the Rainmaker mode that sometimes caused the animation above checkpoints goals to not display correctly. I wonder if that's happened to me. In Flounder Heights in Rainmaker mode, where the tops of certain boxes weren't treated as areas and the Rainmaker couldn't enter. Adjusted the placement of a box on the high ground in Umami Ruins Tower Control mode to fix an issue that caused players to use Kakonraila and unforeseen methods to get to the high ground near the spawn point. Adjusted the placement of the goal in Umami Ruins in Clamblitz mode to fix an issue where players could throw clams into the goal from unintended locations. Fix an issue in Manta Maria where players could stand on a narrow ledge above the mast. In Manta Maria, that sometimes caused sub-weapons thrown on certain spots to stop in these spots. That caused some terrain that was not intended to be appear inkable in certain spots on the turf map in Manta Maria. In Manta Maria, that caused players to be treated as if they had fallen off the stage and splatters if they were submerged in ink before moving to the floor in certain areas. Fixes to Salmon Run. Fixed an issue that sometimes prevented players from being able to throw or deposit eggs in the egg basket if they were carrying a golden egg and approach the egg basket while pressing the A button. Fixed an issue where a golden egg would appear to stay in place if a player was carrying it while using the inkjet into swim for one then was splattered by a salmonid. The explosion from a steelhead or Ouroboros bomb would launch a drizzler's projectile back at it. So there was apparently a thing that would make it so the enemy was fighting itself. I see. And that's not helping us anymore. We got all those buffs though. Where the player could be splattered if a fly fish's container was broken and the player got close to the broken part. I feel like it might have happened to me once. Issue that caused the number of power eggs the player earned from breaking a fly fish's container to differ depending on the order in which they were broken. Oh, good. Where the controller did not rumble when a fly fish's tendon was locked on the player or a nearby ally. That prevented a fly fish from exploding even if it was hit with its own missiles. Okay. That caused the fly fish to spawn at a lower height than intended. That fly fish missile thing prevented fly fish even if it was hit, so I guess there were issues where it wouldn't blow up properly. And apparently it can get blown up by its own missiles. Fix an issue where, in rare cases, the inside of a flip-flop's ring would quickly appear to have been inked even if it mostly hadn't. No. Well, that fixes those weird things I think I've seen that happen before. Fix an issue that sometimes caused the flip-flop to land on top of the egg basket. That sometimes prevented a player who was being targeted by a flip-flop from earning power eggs even after they stopped it from diving. That sometimes caused the game to slow down when a player got on top of a slamming lid. Oh, good. That's very good. That's got fixed. That's definitely happened to me sometimes. I wasn't sure if it looks like it was a slamming lid issue or not, just the game being intense and overrun. Fix an issue that sometimes causes a slamming lid that was splattered above a grate to fall beneath the grate and the golden eggs to appear under the grate. Oh, interesting. I'm not sure if I've seen that before, but I feel like I might have at least once, a few times. Fix an issue that sometimes prevented rollers from dealing damage to slamming lids with a rolling attack. Oh, good. That might have happened to me before. Pretty sure it has. Fix an issue that sometimes caused players to clip under the terrain if they attacked a big shot while touching it. Fix an issue that sometimes caused multiple big shots to spawn from the same spot. Oh, okay, that's good. So we should get less big shots? I thought they fixed that last patch. When playing a job scenario with a special fog wave, we made it so that the order in which goldies appear and the corresponding number of golden eggs it leaves when defeated would be as close to the same as possible. Wait. When playing a job scenario with a special fog wave, we made it so that the order in which goldies appear and the corresponding number of goldies leaves close to the same as possible. Oh, okay. So, was there an issue where goldies in fog, when doing job scenario fog waves, where they were not appearing in the right order and not dropping the same amount of eggs. Fixed an issue in special fog waves where the number of golden eggs spawned was lower than intended in rare cases. Oh, good. So we should have an easier time in fog waves if we lead the goldies to the basket. Fixed an issue in special mothership waves where the position of mothership was sometimes different for each player. Oh, interesting. Fixed an issue in special co charge waves that made a cannon unusable if a player was spotted as soon as they entered it. Oh, I think I've seen that happen before on Twitter or on YouTube somewhere. Fixed an issue in special giant tornado waves that sometimes caused the second box to be damaged as soon as it appeared. Fixed an issue in spawning grounds that sometimes caused golden eggs to fall in places that made it hard for players to collect them. Fixed an issue in spawning grounds that sometimes allowed gorillas to pass over higher elevations than they normally would be. Should normally be able to. Good. Fixed an issue in spawning grounds that sometimes caused moors to sink into the terrain and not be able to come out. Fixed an issue in gone fish and hydroplant that sometimes caused a fly fish to overlap with a fish stick and prevent players from breaking its container. Oh, I think I've had that issue before. In marinas bay that sometimes cause moors to sink into terrain and not be able to come out. In marinas bay that sometimes cause golden eggs to fall into place in places that made it hard for players to collect them. Oh, good. We should have an easier time then. Fixed an issue that caused players to only be able to collect 5 bonuses from a single job when they earned enough Grisco points to collect 6 or more bonuses. Oh, okay. Good. Fixes to table turf battle. It fixed an issue that caused rotated cards to go back to their initial position if the player selected cancel or the giving up screen to go back to the game. Mitigated an issue that caused a communication error to occur for players during online battles in the same room for about 2 hours by extending the time it takes for an error to occur to 4 hours. We will consider adding a fix in the future update that prevents a communication error from occurring even if players stay in the same room for an even longer period of time. Fixed an issue that caused spectators and players to see different things for an extended period of time when the connection was unstable in online battles. Okay, so and that's weird that you can see weird things in table turf when it's just table turf, right? It's a passive turn-based thing, so it's not like actively going to get messed up, right? Fixes to Splatfest. Fix an issue in the Splatfest top 100 part of Splatfest stat in Splatnet 3 where if 2 or more players were tied to the nearest decimal point, the player who recorded their score first would be displayed beneath any players who recorded their scores later. This fix will be applied to the ranking order of Splatfests that were held in the past. Fixing a rare issue that caused a conversation about Splatfest results to not display when turning into Annex Splatfest the exact time the Splatfest result announcement began. Luckily that hasn't happened to me. Fixing an issue that caused the game to crash if the player selected to watch Splatcast while a Splatfest newsflash was playing somewhere other than the lobby. Fixing an issue that sometimes caused the number of times splattered to differ between a battle replays and battle stats if a player was splattered right before the end of a battle. Fixing an issue where if a communication error occurred while fast forwarding in a battle replay, the subsequent audio would remain fast. Fixing an issue that caused certain hairstyles to appear differently than intended when the Special Forces beret was equipped. Issue that caused some shoes to not display correctly when placed in a locker. Fix some emote icons that made it difficult to determine what the emote was. Fix an issue where if a friend created a room for a private job, it would display a salmon run on the friends menu, making it hard to tell if it was actually a private job room. Okay then, so that's the previous one. Okay, good. Okay, so that's all the patch notes for Sizzle Season 4.0.0. Thanks for going over this with me. If you like this, come subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.